So excited. We are here. It is December the 12th. It's time for Christmas live stream. I'm super duper excited. Um, if you are here, just, you are here. So tell me where you're from, what you're drinking. For me today, I have a delicious candy cane latte from David's Tea. I absolutely love their tea and I love their lattes. So today I just thought we would just have like a nice fun little get together. I got a new microphone. I feel like I had the craziest few weeks for tech slash YouTube issues. So we are going to get into all of that, but type into the chat, Shelly or Jennifer. Hi, you're drinking coffee. Hello. I have got the Wood Burning Warrior from Yorktown, Virginia. Love it. Nancy, hello from New Jersey. Oh my gosh, so great. I'm telling you, it has just been, Terry, a fellow nurse. Hello. It's been crazy. And I bet you guys are having like the exact same kind of crazy month. Like December is just like a crazy, fun, sort of like wacky month. And I think like the best thing is just to lean into it. Kim, hello. Hmm. Your David's tea is on the way. She asked me in one of our calls, I think it was in Untangled, or maybe it was this, where about my David's tea, and I love it. Sexy lady, love the name of your handle. That's so good. Long Acres, hello. Oh, and I think you asked a question, which is great. Hello from chilly Winnipeg. Hello. Oh my gosh. Phoenix, Finland, very cool. California, Michigan, Illinois. I love it. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Missouri, so great to see everybody. Meow. Yeah. Oh, caramel cappuccino, delicious. Water, and it's in a Stanley. When people were talking about Stanley Cups, there's this girl I follow on Instagram. She actually just lives over near Vancouver, and she was like talking about her Stanley Cup, and I was like, "What is she talking about?" Because like I thankfully I did not marry a man who wants to watch any sports. I'm just so grateful for that. I grew up with a dad and a brother who watched a ton of sports. They didn't play any, but they watched them all. And anyways, but as a Canadian, I mean, certainly people talk about Stanley Cup. So I just thought they meant like for hockey. So, oh my gosh. Okay, so I got a new microphone. This one is super lightweight and it's good for when I'm doing like voiceovers or live streams. I think the last live stream, something was wrong. Like I could not get my microphone to work and it broke. Oh my gosh, it's right here. And I'm like, oh boy. I'm trying to figure out what to do with it because it I'm like, should I donate it or send it to somebody who maybe can fix it and use it themselves? It's huge though. It's so heavy. It's like a very good quality microphone, but I actually didn't like how my voice sounded. Anita's here and Megan. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you guys are here. Oh, so I want to talk about getting ready for the holidays, Christmas. Our a lot of our friends are currently celebrating Hanukkah, which is lovely. And I think it's just a busy time of year for a lot of different reasons. Like even if it's not just for like the celebrations of different things, it's for even just like the end of the year, and it's like we've moved into Christmas, or we've moved not Christmas, we've moved into like winter, so we've got to get like um, our warm clothes and the season change, depending on where you are. So it's definitely a crazy time of year anyway. But if you are me, and yes, this is an Ember mug and I love it. And my last Ember mug, it had it got like build up on the bottom, and they replaced it for free, which was awesome. I really appreciated that. So, but anyway, yeah. So right now, leading into Christmas, like, where are you in your prep? Are you like super behind? Are you feeling like your head is just above water? Or are you like, I am feeling awesome? Because for me, I think like there's just a couple of things we need to get. I've got three teenage boys, and I think teenage boys are probably one of the hardest people to shop for. Men in general, for sure, but I think teenage boys are so hard because either you can get them something super expensive or like clothes. And I'm kind of like, it's going to be clothes. Clothes, gift cards. One year they got like mostly money and they were a bit bummed, which I get, right? But it's like, what do you do? So, yeah. And Susie's here, sun shining in the Hebrides. I love it. I bet it is getting dark super early there right now, Susie. Susie's way up in the Hebrides of Scotland. And yeah, got a jump start in November, thankfully, because life was too crazy the past 2 weeks to do anything. Yeah, and that is like one of my very favorite things to suggest. So, like this year, if you're like feeling crazy behind, just start plopping the things that you want to get done and just put them in your calendar to do at a different time next year. We went away. We went and saw the band Depeche Mode on the last weekend, the Black Friday weekend. Actually, we were in Vancouver. It was so great. I walked around this Christmas market, which was amazing. I loved it so much. And um, but we were and the concert was incredible. If you ever get the chance to see Depeche Mode live and you are at all a fan, go. Amazing. Dave Gahan is a total showman. Anyway, so we were gone that weekend, and then last weekend we did our annual trip down to Victoria, where we go and look at like Christmas lights, and we take the kids out to dinner, and they absolutely love it. But for like 2 weekends, I was gone, and I felt really behind because I had not followed my own typical advice, and I didn't start doing my baking in November. I had thankfully done my pantry shop. Like what I always do is I like go look in the pantry and say like, what do I need? And then I have everything, which was great. I had done that way in the beginning of November, and it felt so funny to be like walking through the store buying things for that. But I was happy. And actually in Canada here, there's a sugar strike, funny enough. And thankfully, I was not affected by that because I was ready, but I had felt behind with my cooking. So what I did, or with my baking, and so this past weekend I baked like 5 things. I made shortbread. I made magic bars, like the Eagle brand. Oh my gosh, literally, it's just like pure sugar. I swear, all of it. And I made cranberry squares from the Best of Bridge cookbook. I can't remember the other two. Hello, everybody. Right? Okay, so Meg says sunrise 10 to 9 a.m. in the morning and sunset 5 to 5 p.m. Oh, right, right, because you don't do the time change. I was like, that is late. I really actually want to adopt that, funny enough. For us, the sunrise is like um about well, it starts getting late out at like 7:15, but it is dark like before 5. It's so lame. I can't stand it. It's the darkness I don't like. Although I have to say, mentally, I feel 1,000 times better than I did last year. And I think it's because I've corrected my vitamin D. I saw a naturopath, she checked my vitamin D and was like, it's low, and told me how to correct it with like drops and stuff. So, so helpful. And I started that in like June. So I feel great. Oh, I'm so glad you made it here. Poetic iconic. Yeah. So, and in the past, I don't know how I'm going to feel after Christmas. I feel like the lead up to Christmas is just easy. It really does make this time of year easier anyway, but I still like last year, as soon as the time change happened, like I just felt awful. And after Christmas, I just felt really awful. So, and you know what, Jean? Like, thank goodness I don't bake. Like, I totally get that. And actually, I had a couple of friends who were like, "Oh, good for you. You're baking. That's great. You can give us some." And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, I love baking and would happily give some of it away because it's just something I enjoy so much and I don't want to have all of it. And we have family coming over on the 22nd for a dinner and I'm like hiding it. Okay, so here's what I did. At Costco, you can get the big frozen pre kind of portion things of broccoli and it's amazing. I love it. That's okay. She's like right on time. And, anyway, so it comes in, like, this great big bag, and it just looks like broccoli, like, nobody's gonna look at it, okay? So what I did is I made extras of everything, froze it flat, and then I slid it in, and I tucked it in the back of the freezer, and I don't think anybody's gonna find it this year, so I'm very happy about that, although my husband basically was like, "Oh, there's so much sugar." So anyway, that is that. Now go ahead. Oh my gosh, you guys are also wonderful. Go ahead, put any questions you have in the chat. Your thoughts on the holidays and getting prepared. And I am going to look through these comments, and then I'm also going to answer a couple of questions that people submitted. Tree decorations are the best toys at the moment. Oh my gosh, 2-year-old and 5-year-old. Oh, I envy you for the gift ease. Although life is a lot easier now that my kids are teenagers, I have to say. Um, mm, I 100% agree with this, Tracy. Experience gifts are wonderful. And last year, actually, we took two of our kids to see. We actually were supposed to see them in 2020, and it was New Order and the Pet Shop Boys. So that was fun. And even like I think like going on a vacation, like if you were going to go to Disneyland, like make that part of a gift. And you can even actually one year we gave them backpacks. This was actually a really good idea. My husband gave it wasn't for Christmas, it was for their birthdays, but a nice heavy duty like quality backpack filled with like candy and treats. And one of my favorite things to do for stockings is to get like boxes of cereal. Like we don't usually get our kids like the unhealthy cereal. Actually, we don't usually buy cereal, but when we do, I mean, no cereal's really that healthy, but it would be like Cheerios or something. Not like Captain Crunch. But at Christmas, we will get them like Captain Crunch or something like that. And they love it. Like they just love it. And chocolate, stuff like that. So and what else? Like chocolate, yes, but even like a container of hot chocolate mix. And that you can give to anybody. You can give that to you can give that to like grandparents, anybody. I use that time to get to bed early. Yeah, apparently in the winter we need extra sleep. I don't know if that's true. I could look that up. Feeling makes us feeling behind, but I got a chunk done this morning. Great. Couple of things left to pick up. A real tree will come inside later this week. Wrapping starts today. That's good. It doesn't really sound like you're that behind. I think like once you have a plan, that's one of the things I like to do the most is if I feel like I am overwhelmed, I just start writing, just make a long list and then just start plopping things in. Like I honestly right now I'm like like feeling like the stress of like I don't know what, just feeling behind and just start plopping things into a calendar and just be like this is the day I'm doing it. And and you guys know how I love my planner so much. Here I got it buried under this stupid microphone. Yeah, I don't know. Or you know what? I think I could take the microphone to like an electronic recycler. We do have that here. We don't have a clothing one. I looked. People are like, "There's recycling for clothes." No. Okay. So what I do is I just put things in my calendar, and I know a lot of people they don't like a planner, and I think like depending on like the kind of thing you do at home. Like for me, I have like YouTube and the membership and things. So I've got things that I want like to get done every day. So I'm going to look at my planner anyway. Even if you are not working at home, but you have things you want to get done, you can still use a planner. Like I wrote workout down on there because I was like, if I don't, I might forget that I want to. So because I had that written in there, I was like, okay, like this was yesterday. Today's a rest day. But yesterday I was like, okay, 5 o'clock, I gotta work out, right? And even like the dinner you want to make. So I know a lot of people don't like planners. I love them. I'm going to be making a planner. Um, I will after probably like I'll probably in like March start planning that because I got other things going on. But if you are feeling overwhelmed with the holidays and all of it, just start putting things even just on your wall calendar. And a lot of people they say like I struggle like getting used to using a planner and I'm like, "Listen, Linda, all you need to do is just start checking it every morning. Put a reminder in your on your phone and your watch, like whatever you use, remind yourself to check it. And then soon you will like always be checking it. When we went to Vancouver, my husband and I, we went on the walk on. There's like a new ferry, which is great. And I didn't bring my planner because it's like this big. Actually, I have this gorgeous new one here, and I'm so excited for it. It's from Hemlock and Oak. I will link them below. But I didn't have my planner, and I came home and I was like, I missed you so much. It was Sunday. It was just like 2 days. Isn't this beautiful? Yes, they are lovely. And they're actually from Vancouver. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. And I've chose the color and everything. So anyway, yeah, so if you're feeling behind, just start plunking things in your calendar. Let's see. I'm in denial. The house is decorated. We're doing holiday activities, but I have barely shopped and we're doing Christmas with my in-laws this weekend. Okay. Here's what you do. You go and you buy like a really fancy box of chocolates and you get a thing of crackers and some fancy cheese and put it in a basket. My favorite thing to do is something like that. And maybe like a jar of antipasto. And the other thing I like to do, like earlier in the year, basically we haven't bought all of the gifts, but we know what they all are. So that makes it really easy. My husband just actually has to go to the mall and grab a couple of things. I do not like our mall. I don't like any mall, but I really just hate going to the mall. So I'm just like, you go. Have a sip of my delicious candy cane latte. Let me see. Nita has vitamin D insufficiency. You got to take the supplement because even like the naturopath, she was telling me you can't get enough, you can't synthesize enough vitamin D. Like even like for us where I live in Canada, between the months of I believe it's April and October, apparently you get enough vitamin D, but you would need to be naked outside for 15 minutes. Like, I don't know. I just don't think my neighbors would appreciate that. Do you need sugar? Yeah. I don't know if there's still a sugar shortage here anymore. I was at Costco last week and there you could get 32 I think it was 32 pounds, not kilos. Maybe it is kilos. Actually, no, it probably was kilos of sugar, which is a lot. Teenage boys are the worst. I totally agree with you, Shannon. How to deal with super difficult in-laws? Well, I would be curious on what exactly you mean, like how they're super difficult. You know, I'm lucky. I married a great guy who has a lovely mom, and I think that for me in my life, one of the best things I have done is just set boundaries with anybody and everybody. Like I even like I'm trying to decide if I want to say this. Okay, I will. Okay, so even like Christmas dinner, my grandparents, they sold their house. Like I'm so grateful my grandparents are still alive. I think my grandma turns 90 this year, but they sold their house 2 or 3 years ago. And now it used to be their house was for Christmas dinner, or, somebody else, like my second cousin would have it, or like that's on my side. And then on my husband's side, my mother-in-law would have it every other year, because every other year she would spend it with one of her daughters. And that was great. So I just really felt the pressure because our house is a little bit bigger. Um, and I felt the pressure of hosting big dinners once my grandparents sold their house, and people certain people pass away, and things change. And I just was like, oh, like I just feel the pressure, and I just thought, no, I don't want to host Christmas dinner. Like I really just want to relax that day. Maybe it's selfish, but you know what, I don't want to. So what I do instead is we have a basically kind of like a potluck style dinner around like the solstice. And I feel like I'm doing my part. We can all get together. And that is my way where I'm like, like dealing with super difficult in laws. I'm not letting other people make decisions for me, even though I know they want me. Like, nobody has said it, but I know this year I said to my mom about Thanksgiving and she seemed a bit bummed out. But part of it was because our son was literally coming home for like 18 hours from university. Like, we weren't going to have very long. And I was just like, no. But that's just it. Like, you need to be firm with your boundaries with anything. And honestly, like, it can even be with what you're willing to have a conversation about and what you're not. And you can be very kind when you're firm with your boundaries, but know that you are um you are you, and you don't deserve whatever somebody is putting you through. Let me look here. I just was wondering if you had clarified what you meant by super difficult in-laws, because I don't know if yeah, okay. I don't know if you meant like clutter wise, because that's usually what I talk about. Some people, they struggle with like their in-laws giving a lot of gifts to kids. And again, I think that is an opportunity for a conversation, and just say like, we are trying to not have too much stuff. Like, the kids, they don't even know what to play with. It gets messy. It's actually stressful for kids. Like, you could honestly like find an article. Lord knows there would be one out there. Um, yeah. So, and also, I have a friend, and she would give her everybody in the family. She would basically say, these are the things the kids want or should get. Which one of these do you want to give them? I think good for you. All right, let me see. Do I read fiction? Do I keep track of the books that I read? I do not read. Well, no, I do. What am I talking about? It was actually during one of our lives a couple of years ago where somebody was saying, let me just bring that one up. Somebody was saying um, that Debbie Macomber, hers are a little more like family friendly. Because I was just like, sometimes I'm like, I just don't like, this is borderline pornographic. I'm just want to kind of like relax before I fall asleep. But mostly I read nonfiction and listen to nonfiction. And my goal this year is like 4 books a month and one to actually read. And as far as tracking them, I do use this. I use this app called Notion, and in Notion, there's this thing called Readwise. And so, because I usually use my Kindle for nonfiction stuff, you can highlight things and then you can send it to Notion where all of the highlights are. And, like with nonfiction, like quite often, like I'm learning things, like there's one on storytelling. So I like click on it, and there's all these things that I highlighted, like start your story with a thesis statement about yourself and then tell a specific story that proves your thesis to be true. Right. Like, and so that's helpful. Like, I can just like, while I'm chatting with you, I can like go. So that is where I keep track. However, and let me see, click new. Yep. So I can just add something like, say it wasn't on Kindle. I could put all of my Audible books on there too, which is a great idea. Thank you for reminding me. Long Acres. Just found out I'm pregnant, so the gift to myself this year is taking it easy and not overdoing all the Christmas stuff. Yay! Congratulations. That is so fun. Yes, and such a good reason to take it easy. Mm. Yay, Simone. Simone is very good. Helpful in our untangled group. Mm. I have young adults who are both married. I decided this year to do couple gifts. Yeah, I'm actually hot chocolate, a marshmallows, candy, and a pretty blanket. That's a good idea. My son has a girlfriend over at university. So, and she's actually going to come to our house for a couple of days. We met her when we went over to see Depeche Mode, and lovely girl. So we're going to give them together a gift card to go out for dinner, which feels so weird, but that's what we're going to do. My 11-year-old wants to have a garage sale to raise money for a mountain bike equipment. Oh, buying his stuff. I'm thinking of just buying his stuff from him and donating to avoid the hassle. What do you think? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I think that might be setting up a bit of a dangerous precedent, although I 100% understand the hassle. But I would, because I have a kid that comes to me all the time and is like, "Can I work in the garden for an hour for money?" Or "I want $40. How many hours in the garden is that?" Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just going to be annoying sometimes, but just be tread lightly on that one. Um, I think that the good news is like he wants to do the work, which of course is going to be a lot of work for you. The other thing you could do, anything that has any value, try to sell it on Facebook Marketplace. And then perhaps since Christmas is coming, you could gift him like a gift card for mountain bike or something. Oh, oh yeah, Hot Wheels. Oh yes, is the YouTube problem solved? Okay. Not really gonna. I will do a very quick overview of this just for anybody who's not aware. But they have so for YouTube, they show ads, which is how even if you're not monetized, they'll still show ads, and that's how YouTube makes money and how they pay the creator. And the creator gets about, I believe it's like 40% of the ad, and each ad, or for every 1,000 views, it's like $5 or something like that. So they were saying all of a sudden I noticed the revenue dropping, and I had made some choices like to hire like somebody to help me out. Actually, Simone, she's helping me out as an assistant right now, and I have an editor, and I just was like, great, this is wonderful. And then I noticed the revenue dropping, and you can't help but be like, oh, this is getting a little uncomfortable. And anyway, so I was contacting them, and they were like, yes, you're being savage. They said, this is weird. It's happening again. Potentially someone is sabotaging you. Oh, it's stressful. Anyway, so I was reaching out, and I even reached out on Twitter or X, and apparently like that's how what you do. And even like the YouTube creator liaison, which was like a pretty big deal in YouTube, he wrote back and he said, oh, well, maybe it isn't. And I'm like, but you guys said it was. And he was like, you know what? Just like keep making good videos. So I was like, I don't know. So for now, it's sort of holding steady. We'll see. But thank you for asking. Yeah, I'm glad you're here too. Uh, oh, that is lovely. And I like this because this is a perfect example of setting your boundaries. You informed your mother-in-law that you're not going anywhere, and if she wants to come, she's free for the next 3 months. Will be the same, planning ahead for real. I love it. Love it. Oh, that's good, Anita. Yeah. So hopefully you're not deficient anymore. Yeah. 50,000 units 2 times a week. Do you feel better? I feel so much better with the vitamin D. Like, wow. Let me tell you. I love this. Found an empty notebook while decluttering, using it as a planner. And yes, I love drawing a line through completed tasks. Me too. Well, I do a little box and then I do a check mark and I love it. When I was in university, for nursing school, I got stretch. There like I think all of the assignments would pretty much fit on one page. And I would write like small and then I would highlight things as I got them done. It just felt so good. At first it was overwhelming, but as you would get through a chunk, oh gosh, it was amazing. Any tips for flipping a long-term graveyard shift schedule around, trying to break the lifelong night owl habit, but having a hard time making it stick? I bet that would be a challenge. I have done shift work before, and when I was younger, it was easy, 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 easy. I was a police dispatcher, and I could because it was literally just me, and all I needed to do was just like my life revolved around my work schedule. It was so easy. But then once I had kids, it was really hard. And I basically just that's partially why I worked as a casual nurse. So I didn't do a lot of night shifts at that point. One of the biggest things to do, I know, with like doing oh, what's the word? Jet lag and other things, even for shift work, they say it's like eating and moving your meals because one of the biggest cues for our brain is eating windows. So I would suggest eating breakfast, even if you're not a big breakfast eater. I am, but if you're not, make yourself eat breakfast for a little while at a normal breakfast time, eat lunch at a normal lunch time, eat dinner at a normal time. Try not to snack. It's actually not good for us to snack after dinner. The other thing is getting light first thing in the morning, especially sunlight. If you ever watch Andrew Huberman, I love him. He's a big, big guy about getting like sunlight in your eyes. And even if you live like where I do, where it's like usually like pretty cloudy in the winter, even just like getting like daylight in your eyes, especially like the bright kind of or not midday, but like, the sun behind the clouds, that part. And I think if you're in, like California or something where you have the sun, like only a couple of minutes is all you need. But and they even say like exercise too. If you live where I live or where Jean lives, where it's, and Kelsey, who's not here today, we all live in the Pacific Northwest region, that you would need like probably 10 minutes on a cloudy day. And I know this just because I spent so much time last year trying to feel good in the winter. Celebrate the solstice. Yeah, so for us, we're having our family dinner right around then. It's actually the 22nd we're doing it, but the 21st is solstice. And I love the idea of celebrating the solstice. And I like the idea of celebrating the summer solstice, which is the best. I just love it. But the winter one is fun too. I think it's really fun to be like, it's getting light out again. Right now, yeah, like and I watched this awesome YouTube channel called Simple Living Alaska, and I love it. And I watched a Q&A. They had moved originally from the Bay Area in California to Oregon, and then they moved up to Alaska. And they were saying, like the hardest thing for them is just how dark it is in the winter. And they're not too crazy north, so they do get a bit of daylight, but I mean, it is hard. So I love the idea of celebrating and being like, it's going to get light out again. I do tend to, and I haven't yet, although I think I've considered it. I look at this, I think it's called timeanddate.com or something, and it tells you when the sun rises and sets. And I know I'm being kind of bothered by the darkness when I start looking at that, but I don't know. Like, it's just not bothering me as much this year. I don't know if it's going to change. I don't know. Oh. Oh, okay, you guys are talking about something. My makeup fire from his look to better. I told him look for a day job since he hated graveyard. Yes. Yeah, so honestly, the other thing I would do is just gradually moving your hours too. But the food is one of the biggest things, and light. That is how our brain learns things. Light food, and also like keeping your house. I can't stand overhead lighting. I just hate it. So, but if I was really wanting to change my schedule, I would turn on all the lights. Sounds awful, but hello, Lindy. Okay. Simone's here. Biggest barrier, starting and stopping. Same with reading, exercise, etc. I have these daily routines down, dishes, laundry, and then other stuff seems to not quite stick. I think one of the best things really is to habit stack or anchor things. So I love like just being like, okay, I just finished lunch. Now it's time for me to exercise or yeah, read. Maybe you don't want to exercise right after you finish lunch. Something like that. So and really it takes like minimum 3 weeks to build a habit. I think it probably takes even longer for a lot of us. I know for me it does. But for me, with the ADHD and the ADHD family, the biggest thing is just using my planner. That's how I will be like, oh, like I want to read, uh, four. I want to listen to 4 books a month and read 1 book a month. I need to read down. Otherwise, I am just going to forget. And so actually, I'm going to do it right now because I think I just keep forgetting to even add it to my planner. That's the only problem. But also anchoring things, but I'm putting that down. Read. There we go. Done. I try to rotate the toys. Yep. I use a planner. I love planners. Okay, I'm getting caught up on the comments here. Eliza, are you the one who came up with minimalist light? I was just thinking about that yesterday and I was like, who is it? Because I am really leaning into that. So I just want a full on thank you for that. Let him have the sale to see how it goes. He can work it. Okay. Got tired of ads and went to premium. We have premium YouTube too. Yeah, I think it's great. And the creator still gets paid. I can't have cellulose, most supplements. Oh, interesting. That is great, Glenda. So for me, my naturopath had me taking, so she said get the drops because it absorbs better. So I have overnight oats every morning. And she said do 8,000 units for 6 weeks and then do 3. I may give myself an extra drop every day because it is dark. But so and like basically 3 forever. So I think like knowing your level is handy where, in Canada, a lot of our stuff is covered by the government. For some reason, vitamin D testing isn't. And my doctor was like, oh yeah, well, everybody's probably vitamin D deficient. And I'm like, well, what? Like, how much should I take? And she's like, like 1 or 2. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I was very happy my naturopath checked it, even though I paid for it. That was fine. And now I know. So good. You feel better now. Joe feels better because she has been taking it. Yay. Oh, my fellow Vancouver Islander. Oh, yeah. Okay. As minimalist, here we go. Here's a question. I get like so chatty. Shall we feel free to re-gift unwanted gifts? Yes. So we get the record straight, set the record straight to whom gifted us crap. Is there an etiquette? I love it. So you're like sending them a message. Here's the thing. You can, I'm not saying I've done this, but you can create a new Facebook page with a different name to sell things people have given you. I don't think anybody should ever feel obligated to keep anything somebody has given them. Now, if there is something that is like a family heirloom that somebody gave you or they left you or whatever, I think that at that point you should find somebody else to take it. But if it's a gift that somebody gave you and you don't want it, that's okay. Don't ever feel obligated to keep something just because somebody else wants you to have it. They're not you. They want you to have it. That's too bad. Like, no, give re-gift the same gift to the same person. I mean, I probably wouldn't. Oh, yeah. No, I wouldn't. Because I'll tell you a story. So, a few years ago, I feel like such a jerk in this situation. My lovely family member sent us a gift card. Now, we were, we have 3 kids, money has, it's an issue. It's not an issue, but it's just something, trying to be careful of how you spend money at Christmas and blah, blah, blah. So, instead of buying another gift card and sending it to this family member, I sent the gift card they gave us back to them, and they were very offended, and they were like, "Why are you sending it back?" And I was like, "It was basically me just giving you a gift." Bad. That was a big mistake. I still cringe at that, and I'm like, because it was a gift card that had, like, the city they were in written on it. Like, it was kind of like not a it wouldn't be like sending, like, a Starbucks gift card just, like, with a gingerbread or something on. Anyway, I wouldn't do that. They would probably think it's rude because that's what my family members thought. Yes, melatonin can also be helpful. You're right for helping. And you could get one of these happy lights, which, um, oh, I need to charge mine. You can get one of these happy lights, and they help your brain be like, oh, it's daytime. Habit stacking. Yes, it was you, Eliza. Well, Eliza, I just want to thank you. And I am going to be using that a lot more. So I will occasionally give you a shout out, but sometimes I might forget because I'm going to use it a lot. I love it. That is exactly what I am. So thank you. You're the best. You only have to receive the gift and say thank you. Then I'd return regift Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, right. Oh, I'm glad you like it. You have to get the vitamin D from supplements. Totally. Liquid iron. Yes, I take a really great iron supplement that is a different kind of iron. And again, my naturopath had I was like a big naturopath. Like, I work in Western medicine. But anyway, and it's a different kind, and it's very absorbable, and my levels are going up. Like this lady, if you're in BC, I got a naturopath for you. But yes, you can get over vitamin D. It's true. And that's why I'm so glad that they checked the level. Don't keep stuff that makes you feel bad. Absolutely. And part of it feeling bad might be just being like, oh, there's a pile of clutter and I don't like it. I would not regift to the same person. Yeah, that's true. In my family, when my grandparents were moving out of their house or when somebody has passed away, they're always like, oh, so and so gave it to them, so you give it back to that person. All right. Regifted a lovely candle holder. Very nice. Lisa. So, Elisa. Got it. I will say that from now on. Elisa. I hope I remember. First time here, Mrs. Jax. Hello. Okay. Habit stacking is when you put something with something else. So say like brushing your teeth and making your bed, or um, doing the dishes and then wiping the counters. And it's a really great way to start learning a new habit that you want to do. Um, Even if it's like, like exercising, right? Like, I wake up, I definitely don't do this. I don't exercise in the morning. I exercise while dinner's cooking, and I'm cooking dinner. um, or like, yeah, so wake up, exercise, and then have breakfast or something. Like it's sort of like anchored to something else so that you remember it. Do you make a list of food or you start from the menu since we always have leftovers? I can't find what works better. Do you mean in day-to-day life or for like dinners? Hey there, Mrs. Jax. Thank you for answering my question. I love your channel. First line. Oh, I love it. Years ago, I went to my sister's birthday, gave her a nice card and some money inside. She opened it and said, thanks, and returned it. Congratulations. That's funny. My sister and I have birthday on the, oh, that is so cute. It's so funny. My brother and I will like, we would send money back and forth for gifts for each other's kids. And I don't know where we are, so we just keep doing it. I love that, doing squats for 2 minutes while you brush your teeth. Yeah, very cool. Gift everyone a book. If they don't like it and pass it on. Yeah, I read them, but like my husband, he's got ADHD to the point where he can't really read. Like he can read, but he doesn't like to read books. Like he's like, this is torture. So that's a challenge. All right. Now I do want to answer this question here. Where are we? Oh, there we go. Okay. So in the, this is being weird. Let me just fix this here. It's unusual. Okay. Real Life with Allie had asked, how are the YouTube problems coming along? That was very lovely. Vanessa said, packing and unpacking for travel and what to do if you have declutter someone from your life. Oh, yeah. Okay. So packing and unpacking for traveling. I think that's an interesting question. And when I travel, I'm not one who brings like a ton of things. I do tend to like if I'm going to visit my brother and my sister-in-law Colette, who a lot of you know from showing up at the lives and stuff, I will bring like my slippers and like a pair of outdoor shoes. When my husband and I go to Vancouver, it's kind of the same thing. Like I'm not a high heel kind of girl, even though Lord knows I could use the height at only 5'1". But I'm like runners. I want to be comfortable. I want to be able to go out for dinner and look like sort of dressed up. But I'm usually like, I'm a casual girl. Like this is just like how I dress, right? So I like to have that as an option, like just to have one shirt or dress that's going to look good. And I will bring at least a couple of sweaters, always 1 to 2 extra pairs of underwear and socks, because it's just nice to have extras. And whenever I'm packing my toiletries, I always just go through the day, or go through like a morning of like I'm getting ready, which is super helpful. Or as I'm getting ready, like set stuff aside. So I try not to bring too much stuff. And in fact, I just bought myself a backup present of a bag for if I travel, because I'm like, I could probably just do all carry on. So I just need to make sure that I have enough stuff. Okay. Oh gosh. Packing and unpacking for traveling. Christmas groceries. That is what I meant, since you said you're late with cooking. Oh, okay. Because I'm answering your other question okay. So, planning Christmas groceries. Let me go back to your original question. Do you make a list of food? Okay, yes. Oh, here's my book. Okay. So I have my holiday handbook, which is available to download. I think a lot of you probably have, and I'll link it below right after this. Or maybe Simone, if you're still here, you can, if you find it on one of the more recent videos. The handbook, not the workshop. But what I do is I have like pantry staples. So I want to make sure there's flour. I want to make sure there's sugar, gelatin, sweetened condensed milk for like the amazing, I know it sounds weird, but Pioneer Woman has a really good Jello recipe. for Christmas. It's so delicious. And then just like other things, right? And what I do, so I have like lox, capers, bagels, cream cheese down there, and that's for like Christmas breakfast because we kind of like don't want something super sweet, and it's usually my mom and my husband and I eating. The kids are kind of like too into Christmas to eat. And then what I have is I have a list of the things that I like to usually make, favorite baking. So I've got shortbread, jello, gingerbread. And in the past, I have made all of this or most of it. So what I'll do is I'll say, yes, I think I'm going to make my cranberry bliss bars. And so I'll be like, hey, I need cranberries. And yeah, so I kind of like loosely plan that. And then as for, because we're not doing like a Christmas dinner, we will have I will just plan like the Christmas get together we're having, which I said I'm going to bring the desserts. So there you go. That's my baking. So helpful to have that done. And then for Christmas dinner, one year we did a beef Wellington and we might do something like that this year. I'm not exactly sure. So I do make a list of the food that I want. And I mean, like I basically had done all of the pantry shopping in November, so that made it very easy for me this weekend to say, "I'm gonna bake," and it was awesome. Like, I had a great time. If you don't like baking, don't bake. Now, Vanessa, your other question that you asked on the, YouTube post, which is awesome. I like that you asked. This is a good one because I don't actually talk about decluttering people too much, but I do like to. What to do if you have decluttered someone from your life, but for Christmas you want to reconnect. I love this idea. I've had a couple of friends in my life who have, for whatever reason, we're a little bit, I don't know, estranged or whatever. I think it's so great to just reach out to somebody and say, um, hey, I was thinking about you. I wondered if you'd like to go for coffee or something like that. I think that's a great idea. I actually reached out to somebody I hadn't seen just because our lives were so busy. And it had been a couple of years, like one of those friends where you're like, you really like them, but life just got in the way. And I reached out and I said, hey, would you like to go for a walk? And she said yes. And we did. And it was absolutely lovely. Oh, yes, get your groceries delivered. Yeah, that's great. Okay, this tree, oh, that poor little tree. Doesn't it look terrible? Oh gosh, it's actually looking like really bad. Um, I probably don't water it enough. It starts with a D. I don't know what it is. The problem is the cats really like it. And some kittens, when we were fostering them, they got to it and they destroyed one of the things. I don't know. I might need to replace it. I wouldn't mind a fig tree. Okay, let's see. When do you take okay, this is a good question. When do you take your tree down and put away Christmas? I take my trees down before New Year's. I don't like it up for too long. I like the lights from the trees. However, um, I as much as like when I decorate for Christmas, I put things away. I put away my regular stuff. I just it still feels kinda cluttered to me. I think it's probably just, like, the big tree in, like, the dining room, and there's one in the living room. The one by the stairs is not in the way at all, and I think I like that one the most because it kinda lightens up that area. But I like the lights from them, but they feel cluttered, so I'm happy to put them away even though it's, like, the time of the year where I need it the most. Uh, Susie says an old friend I had many years called me randomly and we literally talked. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's an option, Andrea or Vanessa. Elisa, you say it's cute. That's good. Okay, and then Long Acres, who was here, I don't know if she's still here. She had asked, "What do you know now? You wish you would have known when you had small children." Oh my gosh! And then somebody else was like, "I second this, Emily." So I think everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people here could comment and say, like what they think. But for me, I would be a lot more patient and, you know, spend more time listening to them when they were little. The other thing I would do as far as like clutter goes is start as you mean to go on. And one of the big things I would do is um, just from the beginning, like I have mentioned before, my husband's love language is gift giving, and I'm not blaming him at all. But he really like, there was one year he was like, "I feel terrible. We didn't get, our one son anything." And I was like, "No, we got him a couple things." And he was like, "This is terrible." I think kids honestly would be happy with just a couple of things for Christmas or whatever. Um, and I love the give them something they need, something to read, something to wear, and something to read. I like that one so much. And we actually did that for a really long time. And it was really great. And it's a good way for them to feel like they got a lot, but at the same time, it teaches them that gifts are like can be useful. Because I love in Little Women the gifts they give each other. Like, first of all, Amy was thrilled that there was an orange, which I think is lovely. And like, who is it? Joe gets like some pencils or something. Like, I love gifts that are useful. I love it. That's like one of my favorite things. If you can give somebody a gift that is useful, they are going to be so grateful. And even with a kid, like it can be the same thing. That's why like bikes are such a good gift. So that is how I would mean to go on. Right. 6th of January is when Anita takes hers down. A lot of people do. I think Meg had said that a few weeks ago. I put very minimal Christmas decorations away as soon as Christmas is over. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so there are a couple of questions on the Facebook group. If you're not in our Facebook group, you should join. Okay. Tom or Lydia said, would you share positive things your family members have said about your conversion to minimalist light? Or do your husband and sons appreciate the changes you've brought to their life? So, okay, here's the funny thing. Like my mom and my aunts and everybody think I don't want anything or won't keep anything. So that is, I don't love that because like when they were going through my grandparents' things, they were like, "Oh, she wouldn't want anything." And I'm like, "No, there are a couple of things that I actually would like." Like I'm I'm not a person who, like, first of all, almost everything of my grandma's that I would like are Christmas things that she still uses, which is great. And I don't, yeah, like, so I'm like, I wouldn't mind the option. So that's kind of annoying. Like, I think that they don't understand that for me, I'm like, I don't like the idea of meaningless clutter. And I don't like the idea of just piles of things. It just makes me feel awful and claustrophobic. And like with I was watching Melissa Maker from Clean My Space, her Instagram, and she was like at somebody's house. I think it was her best friend's house. And it was like they had stuff around, but it wasn't cluttered. And I realized that is what for years I really liked about a lot of other people's houses. And when I was a kid, our house was not cluttered either. My room was cluttered, which I didn't like. And I loved when my mom would clean my room. It felt so good and so fresh and so tidy. So I realized that I just don't like a lot of stuff around. I think I'm like completely going off topic here. What was the other? Oh yeah. So what do people? I was. Yeah. So I think they understand it, but at sometimes they think I'm heartless for not keeping everything, and I'm like, well, it's stuff. It's not like I'm decluttering the person. I love the people desperately. And now my husband and my kids, I think that my husband really appreciates it. he now likes it so much. We will watch, like Escape to the Country when people are like looking at homes to buy in the UK. And he'll be like, oh my gosh, like that looks so cluttered right there. Like it's makes me feel like uncomfortable. And then we'll be like, that is nice because it's like open and tidy. Um, so he likes it. The kids, I don't think they mind. It certainly makes it easy to tidy up anything because it's so obvious that there's extra stuff around and it's easy to pick up, to know what's yours and whatever. I don't make them do anything differently. I don't make them declutter. My uh, kids don't really play with toys anymore, so that's not really an issue. I never made them declutter anything. My big thing is not making people like, not decluttering other people's things, it's about decluttering your own things. You can certainly go through things with your kids. So my family is pretty on board with it. All right. And Jean asked, procrastination pixie here, why do I only get things done when it is urgent? That's an ADHD thing for sure. And I really love like the Solve It grid. Do I have that here anywhere? I've shared it before, and it is just one of my favorite things because it just oh, here it is. Um, when we leave something to the last minute, it's emotionally stimulating. So it's sort of like easier to do because there's really no choice. When it's in the annoying yellow zone, like not emotionally stimulating and not fun at all, we're like, I don't want to do that. I mean, yeah, it's like anytime I get ready to go anywhere, I give myself 10 minutes. That's not long enough to get ready sometimes, but that's how long I give myself, right? And if you don't know what the Solvit grid is, I don't know if you can see my cursor or not, but it is, green is the money place to be. It's basically you're doing something that lights you up, that's some kind of activity, like maybe it's crafting for some people. For me, it's I love cooking, I love gardening. It's not crafting. Blue would be something that's not emotionally stimulating, but also fun. So it might be like watching YouTube, which I like to do to relax, or watching TV. If you do it for too long, though, you feel kind of gross after a while, like just kind of lazy, and it's harder to stop. Yellow are basically most chores you don't enjoy. So, there's some people who are like, I like doing laundry. For them, that's actually kind of a green activity. For me, I hate laundry and it's yellow and I procrastinate it. And then I'm like, oh no, now it's red and I have to like go somewhere and I don't have any clothes and I'm like drying something with a hair dryer. So I think that the best thing to do to try to have less of the red things is just as much as possible just to schedule it in. And I know so many people, they hate it. And I love my planner, right? And it's really helpful to know, like when you're planning things, that you're like, this is a yellow thing. I don't feel like doing this, but I'm putting that in there. But in other cases, you're like, like I like working out. Sometimes I'm like, yes, I can't wait to work out. But other times I'm like, that's an that's a yellow thing. I don't feel like doing that, but I'm going to, right? So it's so helpful. Solvit Grid looked it up and decided to share it. It's so good. Yeah, and it's in the book, Your Brain's Not Broken by Tamara Rosier, and I love that book. I'll link it below when I'm done. My mom is finally getting my decluttering journey. She had to deal with grandmother's passing, so now she sees what it's. Yes, a heads up. Swedish death cleaning and KonMari practice at the same time. Absolutely. We don't want to leave things for our family members, Well, most of us don't. Like it's not ideal. And yeah. Well, any other questions before we go? Like, we're like over an hour here, you guys. Drink more of my tea. Waiting. I'm not sure if we're going to do another one of these before Christmas, but maybe not. maybe after, maybe the weird week. Feels weird to put simple to-dos in a planner, but I guess I have to since my brain only wants to do the fun stuff. Seriously, like just put those simple things in the planner. That's what I do. Like I really do. It seems crazy, but you'll be amazed. And it makes it so easy to go through your day because you just look through the stuff you've already planned for yourself. I love it. Okay, everybody, this has been so much fun. Thank you for showing up.